If you're a fan of the inner workings of Hollywood, then check out my podcast, The Town, on the Ringer Podcast Network. My name's Matt Bellany. I'm a founding partner at Puck and the writer of the What I'm Hearing newsletter. And with my show, The Town, I bring you the inside conversation about money and power in Hollywood. Every week, we've got 3 short episodes featuring real Hollywood insiders to tell you what people in town are actually talking about. We'll cover everything from why your favorite show was canceled overnight, which streamer is on the brink of collapse, and which executive is on the hot seat. Disney, Netflix, who's up, down, and who'll never eat lunch in this town again. Follow The Town on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Dan Heifetz, and I'm joined by Dana Kelly and Craig Horlbeck. And today we are going over the biggest questions for the fantasy football season in 2025. We're going to go through the big questions. We're going to do some emails and just a couple things first. Thank you. We sold out the live show in New York City, so thank you to everyone who bought tickets for that.
DK takes New York.
Cannot
August
wait.
19th.
The Big Apple.
Thank you. Oh,
That's what
God.
it's called, right?
I hate that nickname. Thank you for that.
New Yorkers say that, right?
I won't even
No,
give
I
that
don't
the
think so.
dignity of a response.
I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that. All right.
The YouTube channel. Please subscribe. We have a YouTube channel now, Ringer Fantasy Football on YouTube. Just type in Ringer Fantasy Football on YouTube. Just hit the subscribe button. We said last week that we would bring back the full intro music if we got to 10,000 subscribers. And then some people were like, that's kind of messed up.
Effed up. Yeah.
And
We're holding it hostage.
now I
They're
feel
like,
a
this
little
is
bad.
lame. So you can bring it back, and now you're not. You're hoarding 10,000 subscribers over us. I
Well, we're
guess we
cooking.
are.
We're in the lab. We're making it. We're making a couple tweaks that I think people are going to like. So
I feel like
we're
all
in the
these
lab.
people have all this time to write comments and stuff when they could be going out and adding us on their parents' YouTube.
Yeah. So
account
please,
or something.
please
They-
subscribe
they
to the
could
YouTube.
be passing out brochures on the street for our show
Mhm,
to
mhm.
bring back.
Getting the word out, you know?
Please do subscribe to the YouTube though. And then, so yeah, we're gonna get to the biggest fantasy things. The last thing is we want to announce something fun we're doing for this season, which Craig, I'll give you the floor here to kind of unveil this.
Yeah, baby. We're kind of in an official capacity. We're bringing back the Ringer Fantasy Football League. And we are going to, on our YouTube channel, in late August, we don't have an exact date. It might be August 25th, but I don't want to officially announce that. We're going to have a live stream draft. Fantasy Football League, it's going to be the 3 of us and all your favorites from the Ringer. Again, I don't know if I want to announce the official crew yet because it's not finalized, but the man who runs this company will be involved in the league. As well as many other of your favorite hosts at The Ringer. It's going to be great. We're very excited about it. It's going to be contentious. We're all going to fight. We're going to have a live draft on our YouTube channel, a live stream draft. And the most important thing, what I care about the most, which will take this league to the next level, we're going to follow it the whole season. We'll be updating it. We'll be having people on. We'll be trash talking the whole thing. But the punishment is the most important thing. We can't figure out what the punishment should be for this league. And so we wanted to ask our listeners to help us out. So for the next month and a half, 6 weeks, we want emails from all of our listeners just figuring out what the punishment could be. Like, and you can keep in mind, this has to be a punishment that Bill Simmons would do if he got us. Okay?
Bill Simmons is not going to sit in a Waffle House
Yeah,
for
it's
24
like-
hours
no.
and lose
Make
an
it
hour for every
realistic,
waffle.
something our bosses would do.
Yeah, something like
reality.
Sean Fennessy would reasonably do at the end of the season. So take your time. We're going to do a mailbag episode closer to the draft in August where we go through all of the top submissions and we will pick what the final punishment is. So get your brains turning. Start thinking about it.
Yeah, so
I
emails
can't
at Ringer
wait to see
Fantasy
what you
Football.
sickos come up with. Yeah.
Emails at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com and just put like and punishment, anything involving punishment in the subject line. And yeah, let us know because we got to figure out we got to calibrate the right.
It's got to be
punishment.
perfect. It's gotta
It
be, that's
does.
why we're letting people know well in advance because this needs to be the perfect punishment.
Yes. So enough with all the housekeeping. I want to get to the biggest fantasy questions of the 2025 season, or at least the things we're thinking about the most. And I actually want to start with the thing that we started with last year, which is just not about fantasy. It's actually about real life, which is which teams are going to make the playoffs.
It is about fantasy, though, a little bit.
It's both.
Because the age-old maxim, draft good players on good teams.
Yeah. The easiest thing you can
Right?
do is just identify the teams that will be good and also which good teams will be bad. Like last year, you didn't want anyone on the 49ers. It would be really nice if you had Jaden Daniels and Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin from Washington. Like identifying who's going to go up, who's going to go down is really important. Also, it's generally very consistent. Like every year honestly, since the NFL has the current, I mean, they kind of changed it again, but the current playoff format,
you said 1600s there for a second.
I almost, like the Treaty of Westphalia. Ever since the Mayflower. No, but basically you could kind of set like clockwork when it was a 12-team field that you would have 6 new playoff teams every year, even though that sounded like that it was impossible when you looked at it in the preseason. You'd always have about 6 new teams. They added it to 14 teams, and it stayed around that number, around 6. But every year you would have about 3 of the 7 teams in each conference would swap out. And I made DK and Craig last year do this exercise. And of course, last year was like the first year in forever that actually only 2 teams fell out of the playoffs last year. And that bucked like a multi-decade trend of it almost always being 3 teams per conference. However,
wait, it was 2 teams total?
2 teams in each conference. Sorry. So 10 teams from 2023-24 season, 10 of the 14 returned to the playoffs last season. So
which is unheard of.
There were only 4 new teams. However, we're going to sit here and we're going to force ourselves to still find 6 new playoff teams.
Dude, this was like pulling teeth. I could not figure it out.
Yeah. I was like, this is going to feel like such hot takes, but it does happen almost every year.
Dude, the NFC is extremely difficult.
Dude, it was basically, you basically had at least 5 new playoff teams every year for like more than 20 years until last season. And so it is worth doing because that's how and it sounds crazy, but then last year is a good example. NFC, even when you only had 2 teams fall out, they were the top 2 seeds. It was the 49ers and the Cowboys. So it happens a lot. So with that said, I actually kind of want to make a start with the AFC actually.
Okay.
Which I think is
hard.
I think this is really difficult. So last year, you had the Chiefs were the 1 seed. They have won the AFC West 9 straight times. You have the Bills as the 2 seed. The Bills have won the AFC East 5 straight times. The Ravens have won 2 straight AFC North titles. The Texans have won 2 straight AFC South titles. The Chargers were the new team. They made a wild card. The Steelers somehow were a repeat team. They made the playoffs again.
I have
and
no
then the
memory
Broncos.
of that.
Hell yeah, every year, baby. Wild card L's.
So, DK.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's easy to just be like, well, the Steelers won't make it back to the AFC, to the playoffs. So who are the other 2 teams?
That's what I love
the only
about
2
it.
teams you feel truly safe about, honestly, are the Bills and the Ravens.
Yeah, I would be shocked if the Bills and Ravens. What'd you say, DK?
Not the Chiefs?
Well, I would put them 3rd behind Buffalo and Baltimore just because of the division, to be honest. I mean, there's 3 other good teams in the Chiefs division. I don't feel the same way in Buffalo.
I mean, so
and
yeah, and that's basically the way that I looked at it. I feel very confident, or at least somewhat confident, the Chiefs, Bills, Ravens are going back to the playoffs. And then because
you only get 1 more.
I felt like I needed to pick something else. I'm kicking the Texans out, even though I think they'll probably go to the playoffs. I think in that division, we could see more competition from some of the other teams, the Titans, Colts, and Jags. Ultimately, I guessed Jags here, even though I don't feel strongly about that. Could be a surprise winner of that division. And then they could be one of the teams. And then the second team is like, I don't know who to pick. I think the Bengals probably, just because they have such a high-powered offense. But I don't feel great about the Dolphins. The vibes are atrocious right now with the Dolphins. The Patriots would have to go from worst to like in the playoffs, which is not unheard of, but it's not an easy thing. And I still think that they are, they're going to struggle on offense with the lack of firepower that they have. Jets? Where'd you guys land on the Jets?
I'm not putting the Jets.
I'm not putting myself in a
Browns?
position. No,
So,
I
like,
actually think the Browns are the only team that I would be, like, I am going to say is out. Like, they're out. They have one of the hardest schedules in the entire NFL. They play the Ravens,
schedule thing
Bengals,
matters.
no way. I think that swapping in the Bengals for the Steelers is like the free space. I assume we all did that. It like doesn't even count. Bengals for Steelers, that's a given.
Yep.
Do you guys want my coward answer, or do you want my like deep down, like my actual gut call? Because you have to kind of go for it if you're going to take.
You do. Give me the 3 new teams that you added in the AFC gut call.
My like gut call, like thing I'm a little afraid to say out loud is swapping the Jags for the Texans to win the AFC South, Bengals for Steelers, and honestly, dude, I think the Chiefs could miss the playoffs. That's my like gut call, and I know that's insane and that's crazy, but I just keep thinking about, dude, the Chiefs. They won 15 games last year. However, again, they won 6 games on the last play of the game. They didn't play that well last year, and that's not me twisting the narrative because they lost the Super Bowl. The Chiefs were sitting there 10-1 or whatever, talking about how they're not executing. You know what I mean? Like they're beating the Broncos on the last play of the game, and they're talking. And Patrick Mahomes is saying they're not playing well. And so I'm looking at the Chiefs, and I'm like, you have Travis Kelce, who wishes he could have retired if they had won that game. You have an old core, and I don't think it's the way that the Niners. I looked at the Niners as the crushingness of a Super Bowl champion, and you lose it, and it crushes you. The Chiefs have an element in that, but it's more just they're just exhausted. They've played so many more games.
They played like an extra season if you go back like 7 years or whatever.
So many more games than everyone else over the last 5 seasons. And I just think that wears on you. And I wouldn't be shocked. And also the Broncos, I think, are getting better. The Chargers, I think, are getting better. The Chiefs are getting worse. And so
who are you putting into the playoffs and for the Chiefs here?
That is the question.
Right.
That is the question. Say the Dolphins.
I kind of do think about the Dolphins, man. I kind of do
Carlos
think about the
is
Dolphins.
just staring at you right now.
Carlos made a good point to me that we could talk about the Dolphins last year like it was some catastrophe, and it was Tua missed a third of the season and still won like 8 games.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they were the worst offense I watched without Tua. And I'm like, the Dolphins also are kind of like the cool Steelers, where they'll also just win 8 or 9 games and make the playoffs and get crushed in the first round.
Say the Raiders.
I thought about the Raiders. The Raiders getting in over the Chiefs is maybe, but I think the Patriots or Dolphins I do think about. But again, I know that's like a hot take. But again, the Niners didn't make the playoffs last year, so that's it's easier to sit here and just say the Broncos won't make it. But I think the Broncos kind of will make it. What do you think?
Yeah.
The Colts won 8 games last year.
That's not happening
if Daniel Jones starts, does that get him an extra win or 2?
I actually think the Titans have a better chance of making the playoffs than the Colts. To me, I think the Colts have horrific vibes.
Yeah.
I could see Cam Ward leaving Tennessee.
Yeah. I'm not going to pick the tag team of Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson.
No, it's just that team just has like everyone's going to get fired at the end of the season written all over it. I do think Anthony Richardson maybe is a value at this point because he's dropped so bad, but I don't know. DK, what do you think, DK? Who are the teams you're pulling out?
I had the Jags and Bengals. Going up into the playoffs and the Steelers and Texans falling out. And then Craig said 2 to 3 teams each conference. So I was like, I can't do 3.
You got to do 3, otherwise it's not count.
I mean, I think I would probably lean a team like the Jets or Dolphins.
But who's the third team you're pulling out? You're pulling Texans for Jags, you're pulling Steelers for Bengals, you're putting Patriots in, and who are you pulling out? Because I feel like it has to be Broncos, Chargers, or Chiefs, if being honest.
Yeah. Probably, I guess the Chargers.
Yeah, I pulled the Chargers.
Because of a Greek tragedy.
I think it's an AFC West team. Is one of those teams is not making it back. Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs. It is obviously easier to say Broncos or Chargers. That's the safer thing to say.
Yeah, my 4 teams in are the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills, and the Broncos. I dropped the Texans, Steelers, and Chargers out, and I replaced them with the Bengals, the Jags, and the Raiders.
Ooh, Raiders making the playoffs would be fun.
It was
Pete
tough.
Carroll, baby.
Yeah, I thought about New England. All right, you want to do NFC?
Yeah.
I think, first of all, though, this is such a great exercise because it just sounds so absurd now, but then a year from now, it's like, oh, yeah, that team fell apart because of injuries or whatever.
It happens all the time.
I have a similar hot take that Heifetz had in the AFC about the NFC.
Oh, are you going to say what I think you're saying? Oh, are you going to?
I'm not saying Philadelphia is not making the playoffs.
Can I guess?
Sure.
Did you pull the Lions out of the playoffs?
Yeah, I did.
You dog. What the fuck?
Yeah. I kept in the Eagles, the Packers, the Bucks, and the Rams. I took out the Lions, I took out the Vikings, and I took out the Commanders. And I replaced the 3 new teams. I have the Niners back in. I have the Cowboys squeezing in. And it was impossible because you have to remove 3. All 7 of these NFC teams that made the playoffs this year are fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, they're all good. And so if you're pulling it sounds dumb, but like if you're pulling the Vikings, the Commanders, and the Lions, that means you can't add back in the Vikings, the Commanders, and the Lions. So you have to pick like 3 other worse teams than those. And so I picked the Niners, I picked the Cowboys, and I picked Atlanta just because the division's bad and maybe Atlanta and the Bucks can both win 10 games.
I agree.
Craig
it's
got
so
rid of
hard.
the 12-win Commanders, the 14-win Vikings,
who else am I getting rid of?
Dude, the Commanders. So the argument
it's just wild. Yeah.
I agree with Craig because here's the thing. The Niners have the easy. So if you look at Warren Sharp's like strength of schedule, which basically is, it's looking at not just like wins and losses, but like basically using betting odds, the quality of the team. The Niners have the easiest schedule in the NFL by far. So I think they're kind of the Bengals of the NFC, where it's like the free space is putting the Niners in, but it's not as easy to take someone out because when I look at the NFC, I'm not taking the Eagles out. Obviously, I think it's kind of insane to take the Eagles out. So I'm not taking the Rams out. I mean, the Rams added Devontae Adams. Like, I'm not taking the Rams out.
I thought about the Rams just because of Stafford's age and injury history.
They're fucked.
But if they're healthy, I think they're in.
You're healthy. I'm like, the Rams are the team that I'm most confident could give the Eagles a game in the playoffs. So I'm not taking them out. The Lions, I agree. It's like you don't want to, but you could see it with the coordinators and everything. The Buccaneers are weird because they're a team that I could so easily see the Bucs actually being this like dark horse team that take a step up, and you're like, wait, are the Bucs a Super Bowl contender? But also, I did it for this exercise because I was like, damn, I have to take 3 of these teams out. I'm like, all right, the Falcons can beat the Bucs in the NFC South. Like, what if Michael Penix is good? That's all it takes. Like they need a pass rush in Atlanta, but that's more for like a true Super Bowl run. Like I could see Michael Penix Jr. being better and the Falcons making the winning the NFC South.
So who are the three NFC teams that you removed?
Dude, this sounds nuts, but I did what you did. I took the Commanders out because they had the biggest schedule change. There's like who is the hardest schedule, and then there's who's schedule.
Right.
The Washington had the easiest schedule in the NFL last year. Now they're like 19th. Which that's the biggest, that 19 spots is the biggest shift. And so I'm like, all right, and again, they have this mercenary team of all these, the Washington's the oldest team in the NFL, which is belied by the fact that it's Jaden Daniels, but everyone else is like
they also,
ancient.
And this, I don't think that's necessarily going to change dramatically, but they went, what was it, like 20 out of 20 on 4th down? It was like
they were the best 4th down team ever.
Yeah, it was like wild, so much better than any other team ever.
And part of that skill, but you can still be skill. Yeah, you can go 15 to 20 and still be pretty good, but like that changes your season. So, I mean, Bobby Wagner's probably the oldest or I guess DeMar Davis is still going. So Bobby Wagner's one of the oldest middle linebackers in the NFL. Marshall Lattimore, they're counting to play cornerback. I mean, Marshall Lattimore hasn't been able to stay healthy in years. I mean, you got Zach Ertz is one of the older tight ends in the NFL. He's like essential to this offense. Like,
even Debo's not young.
Debo is. I'm big on Debo this year, but I'm not sitting here like I'd be shocked if Debo wasn't himself or can't play. Like they are Laramie Tunsil, depending on a lot of old guys. So I pulled Washington out. I also pulled the Vikings out, man. I just did it. I'm like, it's JJ McCarthy's
like, what if he's bad? That's basically
what if he doesn't win 14 games like Darnold did? I'm like, sorry, 9. 9 is a great rookie season. That's you know what I mean? So I pulled Vikings, Commanders, and Bucs out. I put the Falcons in for the NFC South, which is tough because I actually think the Bucs are really good. Maybe I was over-influenced by Tristan Wirfs, the left tackle, starting the season probably physically unable to perform. But I put in the Niners, as Craig did. I also put in Dallas, which is not popular, but I just think Dak being back. 3. And I got to tell you, I'm sitting here right now and I still don't know. Oh, no, those 3. And the other 2 I was between was the Cardinals and Seahawks. I really wanted to fit the Cardinals then. I think the Cardinals are feisty, but the NFC's they don't have anyone that's
about my Seahawks. You guys are just singing the Rams' praises, and meanwhile they got into the playoffs by like a 4th tiebreaker over the Seahawks.
Did you put the Seahawks in?
No.
Okay.
But still, I could feel the hate emanating from both of you.
I'm upset that you guys didn't even discuss it.
Well, I don't know. I put them on. They're on the borderline for me. The teams I dropped out just because I feel like they are still not quite to the level of the Lions and Eagles, which to me, the Lions and Eagles still are the class of the NFC. And then you have the Rams, who, again, snuck into the playoffs, even though they look great in the playoffs. I dropped out the Buccaneers, new OC. Liam Cohen was making magic last year. Who knows if that'll happen again?
Yes,
like Heifetz said,
I agree.
Tristan Wirfs, I think it's a huge loss. If he doesn't play for the first half of the season, their offensive line could be totally different. And so they're another team with a lot of moving parts. I feel like I dropped the Commanders out just because, like I said, it felt like they kind of did capture lightning in a bottle last year. And who knows if they can do that again this year. I'm not saying that Jaden Daniels is all of a sudden going to be bad. I just think, everything kind of went their way last year. And the teams I put in, I had the Falcons winning. And again, it's kind of just a matter of they have a really easy schedule. And I think Michael Penix will raise the floor a little bit on offense. They did invest in 2 defensive linemen, 2 pass rushers in the draft, which we can talk about the cost, but like it's nice to have 2 extra pass rushers. And then I put in the 49ers. And I was considering dropping out the Packers or the Vikings. I didn't know which one I was leaning towards. I think I leaned the Vikings will still be good. I just really trust Kevin O'Connell and what he does there. The NFC was more muddled. I went in with the Falcons and the 49ers in.
You need one more.
I know.
I don't like this fence sitting.
You said 2 to 3.
Oh my God, it's 3.
So I said 2.
Do 3.
That's the whole exercise is 3.
Give me a
2
minute.
is easy.
Let me think
2
about
is
it.
easy.
Putting the Seahawks in.
Anyone could do
dropping
2.
the Packers out.
It's funny that it's the Packers are the other one where the Packers, I mean, they're the 7th seed last year. In theory, they should be the easiest one to drop. But I kind of looked at it as Jordan Love had MCL injury.
They had a weird
I
season.
think the Packers are good
all
across the
year.
board.
Yeah, they are good, but
That was their year where
So
the
were the
quarterback
Lions.
was hurt the entire season. Even when Jordan Love came back, like he had an MCL injury week 1. That doesn't necessarily go away. And so
No, I know the Lions are good. The Lions lost 7 coaches. Like we'll get into that, but
that's true. That's wild.
it's the Lions. That's also just a competitive division. I think doing this
Super
exercise
tough.
also, I think that with the teams you want to put in, I think the difference to me is that the AFC, the elite teams are so much better. The NFC is the Eagles. The Lions are trending down, but I just think the Bills and Ravens are like so unassailable. And the Chiefs, they have Mahomes. It's tough to go against them. The NFC, I think, is so much flatter where in 16 teams in the NFC, there's only 2 teams you're not considering, right? It's the Saints and the Giants. The Saints are the worst team in the NFL. They have a really easy schedule, though. There's the Giants who could be better, but the Giants have the hardest schedule. So I think the Giants are like out. The Saints are out. That leaves 14 teams. I think 12 of the 14, you have to really consider. The Bears and the Panthers, you have to really talk yourself into it. But there are 12 teams in the NFC that, like the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Cowboys, the Falcons, the Niners, those are all teams that didn't make it last year that you wouldn't blink if they made the playoffs. So I think it's much
the Giants
harder.
have the hardest schedule if they were last year.
They got screwed. It's just kind of how it lines up because basically the way the schedule works is so they get the 4th place teams in the other divisions.
Yeah.
But then you also are at the mercy of what divisions you're playing at a given
and
time.
they got screwed because they're like playing like the NFC North.
Yeah, so they're playing the AFC West. So the Giants are playing the Broncos. Yeah, so like
plus the NFC East.
So they're playing the Giants, play the Washington, Dallas Eagles. So the Eagles is automatic 2 losses.
Yeah.
Dallas is again probably 2 losses.
1 to 2. Commanders is probably 2.
You're hoping to go 1-1 versus Washington. So like the Giants
also they suck.
Then they suck. And then you're getting the AFC West, and then also you're playing the NFC North. So those are the 2 most balanced divisions in probably the entire NFL.
It's just so brutal.
Right?
Like the Niners, it's like, oh, they just had one bad year, and now they have the easiest schedule in the league.
I know. I hate that. This is the fucking Niners' whole thing is they like suck for 1 year, and then they position themselves perfectly.
Right back.
Like the Giants are playing the NFC North. You get the worst team they're playing is the Bears now with Ben Johnson as the coach. You get Vikings, Packers, Lions, and then you play Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. So the worst team. So it's just the Giants are screwed.
This dovetails into my first big fantasy question of the season.
Please.
Which is the 2 new hotshot OCs that left to become head coaches, Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen. How will that affect their new teams and their old teams? Me going through rankings, looking at everything, I keep thinking about like, God, what's going to happen to the Lions? Are the Bears going to be good? Can Liam Cohen do it with Jacksonville? And can the Bucs still be solid? So like starting with Detroit, like I said, they lost 7 coaches. Ben Johnson, Antoine Randall-El, and the assistant quarterback coach, JT Barrett, went to the Bears. Aaron Glenn went to the Jets, their defensive coordinator. Tanner Engstrand, shouts out FCSU, went to the Jets. And then as did Steve Hyden, the tight end coach, went to the Jets. And then their defensive line coach, Terrell Williams, went to New England. So they lost 7 coaches. And really, they're losing 2 offensive coordinators because Ben Johnson and Tanner Engstrand, which is just impossible.
I've been saying Engstrom, I think, the whole offseason. So.
Engstrand.
Good start.
He's been with the Lions for 5 years as the tight ends coach and the passing game coordinator for the last 3 years. And the Lions just like literally had one of the most electric offenses ever. They had over 3 points per drive last year, which only 4 teams have done that in the 21st century. And now they
also
have
that list is probably what Peyton Manning's Broncos and the 07 Patriots.
Pats, and now their offensive coordinator is this guy, John Morton, who was the passing game coordinator for the Broncos and Bo Nix last year. He was on the Lions as an assistant in 2022. And before that, he was on the Raiders for 3 years. He was the OC of the Jets in 2017. The last time he's called plays, he was the OC for the Jets in 2017. And I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm like, Jared Goff kind of only really succeeds in perfect situations, at least in my mind. It's like, when the McVay era was cooking, the offensive line was good. He had Todd Gurley. He had all the receivers and like everything was on fire. And McVay was like ahead of the curve in terms of play calling. Same thing with Ben Johnson, the great offensive line, the great skill players. Now I'm like, offensive line's a little worse. They lost their center. They lost their guard. They were the most under-center team in football last year. You lose their center. Also, the Lions are playing outdoors way more this year. They played 3 games outdoors last year.
Last year it was all indoors.
They only played 1 outdoor game until week 16. And at that point, they were 13-2. This year, their first 4 away games are outdoors. Green Bay, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Kansas City are their first 4 away games. I don't know. That's why I kind of pushed Detroit out of the playoffs if I had to pick. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think
I'm obviously
it's
leading you in
definitely
a certain
possible.
direction right
Yeah,
now,
it's
but
definitely possible.
if you want to push back, feel free.
I will say there's a reason we talk about continuity so much and why like some teams are so look at the Chiefs right now with being able to hold on to Andy Reid and Spags for like multiple years. That is so rare to see, a really good team, a Super Bowl type team keep their coaches. It's just so rare. There's always brain drain.
I feel like that's why the goal is to hire an offensive, like a guru play caller as your head coach, and they don't leave.
Exactly. And so that's like, I think one of the big arguments we have when teams are hiring is like, okay, if you hire a defensive coach, then your OC, if he does a good job, is going to be gone in like a year or two. So I don't know. It's just like, it really does matter. And I don't know how much it matters. I don't know if it's like 7 games worth or whatever, if like they're going to miss the playoffs, but it is really important. And we don't know anything really about this John Morton guy. I just looked back at the 2017 season. Do you know who started at quarterback for the 2017 Jets?
It was Josh McCown.
Josh McCown. He actually had a pretty good year. 18 touchdowns, 9 picks.
I remember
sneaky McCown year. True.
Speaking of random fantasy tweets,
maybe there's something there. Yeah.
Fantasy at one point wrote in Slack around that time that Josh McCown was firmly the 3rd greatest quarterback of his lifetime for the New York Jets. And he ticked through it. And he was right, which was crazy. So maybe John Morton's got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Craig, I think you're right to question this. And if you think about what the Lions were doing last year, it really felt like this is the peak. This is the apex of offensive football. They were feeling themselves so much. They were throwing
33 points per game.
Dude, they averaged over 3 points a drive. Every time they touched the football, they got a field goal. Minimum.
They were doing the fake fumbles. They're throwing to offensive linemen.
Did you guys hear the story of? Did you guys see the story of how they did? They remember that when they threw the ball to Penei Sewell that was like in the middle of the field, like on the 40-yard line.
Yeah,
because usually you only see offensive linemen catch it in the end zone.
Yeah,
right.
Did you ever hear? Did I ever tell you the story of how Dan Campbell greenlit that play?
No.
Dan Campbell,
wasn't it like by accident,
dude? He's like sitting there. And I can't believe he admitted this. This is why he's the man. Dan Campbell was just kind of like, I was just kind of like watching the wave in the stadium. And I got kind of mesmerized by it because it was really good. And then I just kind of blacked back in and I just hear in the headset, Dan, are we good? Are we go? And he's like, oh, yeah, yes. And then he watches the play and they throw to Penei Sewell. And he's like, holy shit, is that what I just said? And he fucking approved it. He didn't hear what they were saying.
Do you think Ben Johnson organized that with the crowd? He's like, well, you're gonna do the wave, and then I'm gonna call a pass.
Yeah, I still believe it.
But yeah,
he planted some people in the stands to start the wave.
Yeah.
But to your point, Craig, it's weird because on one hand,
the talent is clearly mostly still there.
Obviously, the Lions could be the number 1 seeded or the number 2 seed in the NFC again. Like, needless to say, they're really good, they're incredible, they're well coached, blah blah blah. It's a lot of factors all coming together, which is a lot of their defensive guys are coming off injuries. And so some of those guys are going to be back and everyone's like, oh, we're fully healthy, we're bolstered. But some of those guys are also like returning from injury, not 100%. The other thing is the offense was incredibly healthy. So that's the thing is the defense will be healthier. The offense is unlikely, and this is a little Debbie Downer, but it's unlikely to be. The offense was oddly like almost untouched by these issues, whereas the defense was smited by God. They had 14, there's 11 starters in a football team, and they lost 14 guys to IR or whatever. And so they were playing guys off the street. So that will be different. But the flip side is it's all these little things. It's the outdoor work. It's losing the coaches. It's losing the players. It's losing recipes. And also just, I think that all that to me, I don't think I'm pulling them out of the playoffs, but it does make me look in the first round. Amon-Ra St. Brown as a player, like, do I want to take him 6th? Whereas I actually worry if there's a little more risk there of any things as like, is he more like, do I want to take Amon-Ra over like Nico Collins? Do I want to take Amon-Ra over like Devon Achane from Miami? Like, are there other players I want to attack? But overall, I don't know. I
almost wonder. See, I almost think for certain players like Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra, and even Sam Laporta, I might be like still just as high on them because I almost think Ben Johnson leaving, there might be less creativity in this offense, which means Goff will just pepper people like Amon-Ra and his tight end and hand the ball off to Gibbs. And it's all the other stuff that will go away. But
so I think that realistically, I think that's fair. And again, Gibbs and Amon-Ra first rounders. I think I'm probably out on Sam Laporta this year just because I just feel like it's just mostly touchdowns And again, a lot of the Lions having less points per game and yards is built into the rankings and everything. But DK, what do you think the effect is on the Bears?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the effect is with Ben Johnson? Because you got Caleb Williams,
right?
And then you have all these guys. Then you have DJ Moore, who's like a top 40, top 50 overall player. You have Colston Loveland, the first round tight end. You have all these guys. How do you feel about the Ben Johnson effect?
Like, how are you assessing it? Like, when you're making your rankings and you're looking at Bears players, like, what are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about how detail oriented Ben Johnson is and how that's going to make a big difference. I don't know if it's going to happen immediately where all of a sudden this is a good offense, whereas last year it was a total fucking mess. But I do think having the details ironed out and the way that things that he focuses on and the way that he calls plays, sequences plays, designs plays, all that stuff is going to matter. It's going to help. And I think, there's still enough there with Caleb Williams talent-wise for it to make it work. It's not like he has to, bring in some random guy and like make everything work as well as it did last year for the Lions. But so at the end of the day, I think I give everybody a little bit of a bump, and that's not saying much because last year they were kind of a disaster. But I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic that this is going to look like a real offense this year. Where do you guys land on this?
I know. I feel like my initial reaction to the Bears this year is like, if I want anybody, I probably just want Caleb because there's so many options. I don't know where the ball is going to go. If the Bears are good, I'll just take Caleb. And then I went and I kind of looked at the Lions in the past few seasons, and I was like, you can't really sustain like a quarterback, a running back or two, a couple, a tight end, a couple wide receivers. Like, they can't all be good in fantasy when like when a team is good or even just like starting to get good. And man, I kind of forgot even even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, how good everybody was in the Lions when Ben Johnson got involved. Like there was David Montgomery was the number 7 running back. Jahmyr Gibbs was the number 8 running back in 2023. Like, Sam Laporta was the number 1 tight end. Jared Goff was a top 10 quarterback. Amon-Ra St. Brown was a top 5 wide receiver. It was remarkable how every single position was like legitimately top 5 or top 10 at their position in fantasy. So it kind of made me think that maybe everyone is a little low on the Bears in terms of just like the upside, and that will trickle in as we get closer to draft season in August, because the reports are already coming out. Like DJ Moore and Rome Odunze are talking about just like how the vibe is completely different. Like you said, DK, Ben Johnson is like a total maniac about specifics and knowing your role and being detail oriented. And they're like, it's just a completely different vibe. You're held accountable and it's really working and the team loves it, but it's a ton of hard work. And I don't know, part of me is like, Caleb certainly has the skill. And like, I'm more in the camp of like, what if overnight they're just really good?
And I think usually I'm a little skeptical of the offensive guru coming in and being exceptional if there aren't like specific things that make me feel that way. I think just frankly, I don't think the short answer to whether I believe in Ben Johnson and the Bears is I don't actually, fantasy wise, I don't think any of it's priced in. Actually, I don't think there's any like McVay effect priced into the coaching thing. Because if you look at it, DJ Moore, I'm just looking at like general rankings. We're a little higher on him, which that is a conversation.
He's like around wide receiver 21, right?
It's like the 50th player, DJ Moore. That's not insane. You look at like Luther Burden. I'm way higher on Luther Burden. Luther Burden's going like, he's like a 15th round player. I'm like, that should be someone going 110th, 120th. I think Luther Burden is someone that might not play in September and have no impact whatsoever in October. And from Thanksgiving on, Luther Burden could be a top 5 fantasy receiver. Like, that's the kind of player he is. I think that DJ Moore is one that could lose Ben Johnson's favor, and he just like makes an example of him and benches him. But I also think DJ Moore could be incredible in this offense. I think Colston Loveland, the obvious comparison is to Sam Laporta, who had 10, however many touchdowns his rookie year. But the other guy, I have a list of like half a dozen guys that don't know what to do with this season. And like the number 1 guy on the list is DeAndre Swift, where I'm like, the running back in the Bears offense, we just saw Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery in Detroit have, I might get this wrong, I think the most touchdowns for a duo of running backs in a 2-year period. Like,
they were basically both top 10 back-to-back seasons.
We've never seen the rushing production from 2 players at the same time as Gibbs and Montgomery really entering the league. And like the Bears running backs, like DeAndre Swift is being taken 60th basically. And then Roschon Johnson's like undrafted. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to do with the Bears backfield. Whereas DeAndre Swift, last time we saw him in Detroit playing for Ben Johnson, they jettisoned him. They didn't even want DeAndre Swift because they didn't like the way he was running. So I don't know what to do with that. It's so weird to me that the lead back has played for the coach, but they got rid of him. But that to me is a crazy opportunity. Yeah. So I think the Bears, the way that they're priced, if they're good, you could stack Chicago. You know how easy it is to get DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, Colston Loveland, and Luther Burden? It's effortless. You can get the whole offense and not even spend it one of your first 5 picks, basically.
I've kind of gone back and forth on DJ Moore, but over the last week or two, I've decided that DJ Moore is going to be a guy I'm targeting a lot because there's so many bad vibes around him right now. Like people are kind of like, he walked off the field, and like we're guilty of this. We've been saying this too, but like
it's funny.
Well,
he walked off the field.
He did, and it was funny.
But there's also a lot of people thinking that like all of Ben Johnson's comments in the post-draft pressers were directly pointed to DJ Moore for like bad body language and blah, blah, blah. And like, I just feel like people are kind of not assuming, but like leaning that DJ Moore is going to eventually just get replaced and Luther Burden's the new guy there, or maybe it's Colston Lovely, whoever. But like, what if DJ Moore just gets the Amon-Ra St. Brown sort of role? I looked this up. I didn't realize this. Over the last 4 years, DJ Moore is 3rd in target share. So he has 28% target share in that stretch. The only 2 people that are higher than him, Malik Neighbors, who only played 1 year and he had 31%, and then Devontae Adams, 29%, or basically 30%. So it's Devontae Adams and Malik Neighbors. Those are the only 2 target earners stronger than DJ Moore over the last 4 seasons.
He had that big year with Justin Fields where that's all he did was like throw to DJ Moore.
But he's going to get a lot of screens. He's going to get a lot of run and catch up or catch and run opportunities.
My thing with DJ Moore, for the last week or two, I've started to get very into him. And I think it's mainly just because he's the only player on the Bears we know is good.
And yes, that's good. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's really smart. And again, the reason this matters and this conversation matters is this is a whole thing in best ball is like stacking and basically the idea that betting on one team to be good is basically the easiest way to do it. And there's a whole best ball world I don't want to get into right now, but in fantasy, it's a little harder to say, hey, you have an office league or a league with your friends you care about. Have like 5 players from one offense. It's a little scary. However, if you were able to identify the team, which takes a little chutzpah, but if you could have gotten the Dolphins 2 years ago when Tyreek Hill almost got 2,000 yards. You couldn't got like if you're able to pick the team. And in the NFC, it is very achievable to get Chicago. So if you're a big believer in Caleb Williams, you're a Bears fan and you're a huge believer and you're like, of course, this is like, go for it. And the AFC version of that to me is the Jaguars, where to Craig's point, the other team where you have an offensive coordinator who's very respected in Tampa Bay and Liam Cohen takes over. And he's worked for Sean McVay, but not like the typical way. Like Sean McVay was kind of going to him for college advice. And then Sean McVay was so impressed that he hired him. It's not like the other guys who just were around Sean McVay for 10 minutes and got a job. Liam Cohen, I think, individually has an incredible career. But going to Jacksonville, I'm like, Jacksonville's the other team where I'm all in because it is so easy. If you can get Brian Thomas in the second round. Wrong? No, I know. Yeah. Well, here's what could go wrong. I'm sorry. You blew your you lose your second round pick, Brian Thomas. Maybe he sucks. If you want Travis Hunter, he's like massive variance on where he could go. It's very easy to draft Travis Hunter. It's like 7 picks after. It's like 7 rounds after Brian Thomas. Travis Etienne's like a pariah. He's like going 100th. Yeah. And then Trevor Lawrence is going later than that. You can get both receivers, Trevor Lawrence and the running back in Jacksonville. And then if you think it's Tank Bigsby or Bashal Tune, like for Liam Cohen, who just revived Tampa Bay with Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, I'm like, if that works, that could be, to me, is the rocket ship in the AFC. Yeah. And so I like that one a lot in Jacksonville.
I think that's very interesting. The more I've been reading about Cohen, I didn't realize. He seems to be extremely respected. Like the players seem to love him. Baker loved him. McVay loved him.
He's the one who prepped Baker when he got signed on Tuesday night and played Thursday.
On the Rams.
Baker Mayfield spent 48 hours with Liam Cohen, and then he won that Thursday night football game.
You know what's funny is Shane Waldron is the reason why the Rams hired Liam Cohen, which is just kind of funny that you basically like bring in your replacement.
the Shane Waldron like effect on the NFL over the last like 3 or 4 years.
He should just be an executive because shouldn't be calling plays.
The outsized effect on everything that's happened in the NFL, all the big things that have happened in the NFL, it's like Shane Waldron's always right in the middle of it.
But like Cohen talking about his philosophy, and he's very similar to McVay, and he learned so much from McVay. And God, dude, every time I read something about McVay, I'm like, this guy's just the fucking best. McVay is just the perfect blend of like leadership, guru, everything. But
all you need to do is have your grandfather be the architect of the 80s 49ers.
The 49ers.
So, just be born in it.
Yeah, Liam Cohen was basically like Sean McVay taught me that it was okay to say like good job and be friends with your staff.
Dude, honestly, all the millennial coaches, they're just realizing it's okay to show affection. It's like all the boomer coaches before just like didn't know how to show any kind of emotions because they all learned from World War II vets and everything.
Yeah, I do quibble PTSD with one thing. Heifetz, have you read that Liam Cohen's very big on like high-fiving and like touching? And,
yes, I have. Yes, I think I know where you're going.
Physical touch.
Yeah. You know when like somebody's like into holistic medicine, they tell you one thing, you're like, okay.
Yeah, like drink raw milk. Who could that be?
And they get into like 3 other things. You're like,
dude, you ever have one of your friends get into ceremonial grade matcha?
Okay, that's not holistic at all. That's
that's
scientifically proven. That's just fucking green tea. I mean, leave me alone. No, Cohen is like, he's using this Berkeley study from like 15 years ago about the Lakers in 2009 and all the NBA teams that I guess had successful seasons on average touched one another the most. Like high fives, pat on the back, like whatever, hugs. And Liam Cohen, he calls it the power of touch. And he wants to like introduce that to his own teams.
I have seen that.
I was like, if I was on Shark Tank, I kind of might have been like, I might be out.
I have a massive problem with that.
Craig,
also, that's just like the dumbest thing I've ever heard, I think.
Did you hear what Terry Bradshaw said last week?
What?
By the way? So I saw this is like very applicable. This matches up very well because on To The Point Home Service podcast,
of course,
Terry Bradshaw said, I did not like my head coach Chuck Noll. He was not a nice person.
Yeah.
And he was mean to me. In all my 14 years of playing for him, he never shook my hand one time. Nice job, Terry. I was walking out, going on the field to play the Cleveland Browns, and he stopped me and said, you mess up out there, I'll bench your ass in the first half.
Yeah,
this is like such a classic example of like the different generations over the years.
All the most successful men in America did not have fathers that said, I love you.
You never say thank you.
Dude,
that's what the money's for.
You think Belichick told Tom Brady, good job, Tom? Even in the book, he just was like, Tom did his job. Yeah. I was very proud of him.
If anything, he was just like fucking going off on Tom in the meetings and making him look bad.
Yeah, it's a great
anyway,
entire
so that's
generation.
a different world.
I will say the other thing that bothers
learn your learners.
Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com if you have any anecdotes about that. About
power of touch.
Well, all right. Here's my issue with the power of touch. One, just the phrase. Like Archer, we're not doing phrasing anymore. You know what I mean? But number two, it's that study really gets me because it is a real study they did. I forget. I don't know where they did it, but they're like, yeah. Did you know that like the more teams touched each other, like hands, daps, handshakes, whatever.
I'm like, well, you know when you touch each other when you score.
I know. It's like, you know those old charts they used to think ice cream caused polio. Yeah. Because ice cream spiked when the polio, and like you ever think maybe it's just summer. Same thing. You ever think that actually winning leads to each other touching?
Yeah, they're
your
like
hands more?
For some reason, like Prime, Kobe, and Shaq touched.
They dapped each other up all the time.
The most when they won the finals. It's like, wow,
that's so weird.
But anyway, I think I agree with you. I think I'm a little bit more hesitant about Jacksonville and Liam Cohen. I don't know. He didn't bring any coaches with him. The offensive line's not good. The running backs, I don't know. I know that Liam Cohen basically overnight made the Bucs a good rushing offense because people forget Dave Canales with the Bucs. He was really the one who kind of like revitalized Baker. Like Baker was good in 2023. They just kind of got better in 2024 and then could really run the ball. They were dead last in rushing success rate in 23 and they went to 9th in 1 year under Liam Cohen. So I think him turning around the rushing game, and it's why I'm interested in somebody like Tank Bigsby. But
remember when Will Levis was drafted high and we were talking about Will Levis and maybe it's a first round pick and they're like, well, he sucked the last year, but the year before that he was great. The year before that was Liam Cohen.
I know.
Liam Cohen made Will Levis a fucking NFL quarterback for a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
So I guess in a nutshell, it's easier to say than actually do. Like, yeah, just stack a whole team on your fantasy, your only team that you like on the case that they're great. It's easier to just say I have 17% overweight on them in my best ball portfolio. Like that's just a little easier. But I do think basically it's more like, well, if you have Brian Thomas, you're like, damn, he's a Travis Hunter later and like just bet on you know what I mean? Just bet on ET. Trevor Lawrence can be your backup quarterback. Like I think it's more, it's not like people are betting on the Jags is not baked in. I think people are out. People are out on Jacksonville. People are out on Trevor Lawrence. I'm in.
Is it bad? I'm also kind of okay with the Bucs this year. I know they lost Liam Cohen. Basically, everything else is the same. They're returning all 11 starters. Wirfs being hurt is a big deal because he's like one of the best tackles in the league. That is a problem. But outside of that, I'm like, all right, the OC, the guy calling plays, Josh Grizzard, was their third down play caller. Josh Grizzard from Lizard Lick, North Carolina.
Josh Grizzard out of Lizard Lick.
Grizzard from Lizard Lick.
He's 35 years old, went to Yale. He was with the Dolphins before. He was with Mike McDaniel. He's kind of like a little mini McDaniel.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I saw he had a 4.75 GPA in high school. I didn't even know you could
Can I
go
tell
that
you
high.
something?
How does that even
I don't
work?
get
That's a
how
ridiculous
GPAs work.
number.
I always thought it was till 4, and then some places go
I
to
thought
5.
4.0 is as high as you could
This
get.
guy
I don't
went to Yale and
understand-
Duke, and he
My-
got
in my generation-
4.75.
So is it when you take an AP class or
Yes.
some like fancy class, it goes up?
You get an extra point if you
So
take an
how
AP
does it
class.
work
Bullshit.
if you get a 100 in AP Calc and you don't go to, I don't know, some other class you don't give a shit about? And how does that, like, I don't understand. Maybe
What do
this
you mean?
reflects poorly on my ability as a fantasy football
Like
analyst,
an
but I don't
A,
really get how
an
GPAs
A in a
work.
normal class is like worth 5 points, but an A in an AP class is worth 6 points, I think.
I'm a little dubious about any 35-year-old that I'm hearing about their GPA.
Yeah.
Why am I hearing about this?
I was more just reading about
35
him.
years old.
I was more just reading about him, and it was like he was a McDaniel guy. He also went to Yale, and then he also went to Duke. He was a valedictorian. I'm like, all right, this guy's
He's
like,
I don't
smart.
like, you know who else I
He's
heard?
a real
He's a
nerd.
go-getter. He's
You know
a
who
real
else I heard a
go-getter.
shit ton about their education was Matt Patricia. Just throwing it
Fair.
out there.
Fair.
But
What was
my-
your guys' GPA in high school?
I don't
4.1.
know.
What? Craig.
You remember that?
Damn.
When you're above 4, you never forget.
I don't know. I just couldn't believe they print, if you're with children, earmuffs. I just couldn't believe at a college graduation they're printing cum on the fucking register, like the, like
I did
Were you
graduate.
the
summa
goddamn
cum laude?
card.
I graduated cum loudly.
I just can't believe that there's just cum written in lab. Like, oh my
Cum
God, this is
loudly.
unbelievable.
But my
And I'm the weirdo?
my overarching
It's
take is
older
that
than the cum thing, Heifetz. Come on.
I am aware of that. I just think it should be phased out. That's all.
it's like, are we
Just say
doing
with.
Latin or are we not?
Just
Are-
say
you know?
with.
Thank you.
Are
It's
we
like the
doing
goddamn,
Latin or are we not?
it's like the numerals. It's like, have you ever looked up Super Bowl 38? It's insane. Super Bowl, yeah, it's XXX. Oh, no, that's the easy one. Sorry. That's the one you guys always make fun of me for.
XXXVIII. That's 38, right?
One of the super. All right. How did you guys enjoy Super Bowl XXX1X? Did you like that? Was that one of your favorites?
Is that 39?
Yes. Should like we have a whole system enough. I know. I hate Latin. I can't believe that you write. Anyway, I don't know how we got it. We should get back to whatever. we're talking about.
Latin.
No, I hate it too.
I hate
Like,
Latin.
Get
It's
it out
got
of
a
here.
fucking Latin.
He
It's
hates
fine.
Latin.
Like, read it in a museum.
It's fine
Latin's
to know how
fine.
words are connected, but like I shouldn't. Anyway, you know what? Now I'm not the weirdo that I didn't want cum next to my name on my college graduate. You know what I mean? That doesn't make me weird.
That's why you were a bad student. You didn't want to be cum laude.
Just I don't know. Just let's. How am I the
Cum
weirdo for
laude?
that?
How do you even say it?
Cum laude.
Loud.
That's
I don't-
ridiculous. That's like
Summa-
that's a practical joke.
Summa cum laude.
Summa
That's some-
cum laude.
That's some shit you would
and
make
the final
up.
one is magna.
Magna cum laude.
That's some shit you would make up for your friends and be like, yeah, no, that's how you say it.
Yeah, he was magna cum.
Anyway.
cum laude.
Anyway, I kind of think the Bucks are still going to be pretty good. Worse
agree.
is a problem. Before
As
the
a
worst thing, I
team-
was like, I think statistically in fantasy, like I think I'm comfortable drafting all these guys. I think.
As a team with a couple assumptions, and I think the big assumption with the Bucks, or the question, whatever you want to call it, is if Josh Grizzard, the OC, to your point, can keep the train rolling. Because again, the last two guys are really talented, Canales and Cohen, and it gets almost like you're almost sleepwalking, assuming it'll be the same. Having said that, for fantasy, Mike Evans is Mike Evans, and he's like, for me, he's Derrick Henry. I'm going to assume he's going to keep doing that until he stops, and I'm no longer going to try to guess what the new age curve is. I think everyone after that is mispriced. But short version, I don't believe in Chris Godwin this year. I am a
Coming
little
off a
skeptical
major
post-injury,
Yeah.
and I know they re-signed him, but I actually think the most mispriced person in that offense is Ibuka. I think all the rookies are mispriced. Like, DK, you talk about this all the time with the rookies. I think all the rookie receivers are underpriced. I think Matthew, for different reasons. Golden on the Packers, Ibuka on the Bucks, Luther Burden on the Bears. I think all the rookies are mispriced.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hard part with the rookies is rookies help you every year, but not every rookie. You have to pick the right rookie, and I think a lot of times it's not exactly
Right.
who you're going to stack.
Thanks.
You gotta pick the right players.
You know, that's why people come to this show.
I don't know. It's not always obvious who's gonna absolutely.
No, it's
go
not
off and
always
on.
No, it's not. Remember that time last year, Marvin Harrison Jr. sucked and every other
See?
receiver was
Great
awesome?
example. Yeah. Bucky Irving. Who saw that one coming? You know,
No, that was crazy.
coming loudly. But I don't know. So do you want to talk about rookies right now? Because that was one of my
Yeah,
big-
Yeah,
let's do it.
like which of the rookies are going to be like the win your league type players last year? Obviously, I mean, just look at the list last year. Jaden Daniels, Brock Bowers, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Ladd McConkey, Bucky Irving, and Bo Nix. All were like integral
Nice.
parts of fantasy. I think the obvious answer this year, Ashton Genty, probably going to get a ton of volume. if you're going to make a tier 1 of rookies that I would be targeting, and
well,
these
wait,
are the
hold on.
obvious
Can
ones.
you just back up for a second and explain? Last year was an unprecedented offensive class, like 14 straight picks. But even before that, can you explain the history of rookies having an impact in fantasy as the season goes on?
Yeah, I mean, if going back over the last 5, 6, 7 years, whatever, you look at the receivers that have made massive impacts in year 1, and a lot of time it's like you said earlier, Heifetz, it's not necessarily weeks 1 and 2 and 3. It takes them sometimes a month to get going in the offense, but like if you look at the splits, there's been at least 1 or 2 rookie receivers every year going last like 5 years that have been quote unquote league winning type players. So they are definitely players that you want to target later in your draft. Keep them on your bench for a month, see how it goes, because sometimes they start slow. But these are some of the most valuable players in fantasy every single year. But again, like I said earlier, you got to find the right ones because it's not every rookie receiver does this. But yeah, just going back, over the years, I'm just doing off the top of my head, but like Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Waddle, all these guys as rookies.
I think the Rashee Rice did nothing before Thanksgiving. And then after Thanksgiving was like top 6 receiver or whatever.
Yep.
And that happens over and over. I think the power of it is in the aggregate, in that having a little humility and saying, we don't know which of these rookie receivers will be good. So having an open mind and being like, this isn't the one I'd necessarily pick, but I want to go for it because it's just knowing that it really is like a taught. And you need to apply context because last year, all right, there were a ton of rookie receivers, but it was an incredible class. This year's rookie class is not as incredible. Maybe there's only going to be 1 or 2 rookie impact guys, but that is why on the whole, the net, when Emeka Egbuka is going 130th and Luther Burden's going like 130th, and Matthew Golden, I think, is going outside the top 100. I'm like,
down the list.
I'm like, Matthew Golden could be the number 2 receiver in Green Bay, and like he could play more snaps than Jaden Reed. I'm like, he's a first round pick. I could go into. I want to talk more about Matthew Golden as the season goes, but I think to your point, DK, this is absolutely a huge year. Like rookie, I think the rookies this year people don't really know what to do with.
Yeah,
Genty's easy in the first or second round, but
he's the only one that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah,
Genty is like the clear-cut number 1 guy. But then there's Ted McMillan for the Panthers, who looks like he could, immediately kind of be a major part of that offense. Travis Hunter, like Heifetz mentioned earlier, I think he's fallen because people don't know how much he's going to play on offense, which is obvious. That's, we don't know exactly what it's going to be. But like, I think if you end up looking at Travis Hunter's rookie season, he might play like 60 or 70% of the snaps, but like 90% of their passing snaps. So, you know what I mean? Like a lot of these guys will play 90% of snaps and like they're out there on run plays where it doesn't make a fucking difference. You know what I mean? So maybe that's something that's like how they'll work him in is like, we know where he's going to be in when we're passing. And maybe that's too much of a tell, but I think a lot of teams do that anyway. But I was like, I circled Emeka Egbuka as a really good value right now. I think Colson Loveland for the Bears is a really interesting one because I think he's going to have a huge role right away.
Dude, I'm sorry. Can I stop you on Travis Hunter at the risk of self-parody?
Do it.
If the Jaguars traded up as if Travis Hunter was like 2 players, basically. They traded up so much to move up in the draft and take Travis Hunter. If Travis Hunter did not play cornerback, he just played receiver, and as talented as Travis Hunter was in college, and as much as high as the Jaguars took him, where would Travis Hunter be drafted in fantasy?
Like 3rd round?
No.
Like really high.
Not 3rd round.
You don't think like higher?
Marvin Harrison was 3rd round last year. So borderline second.
Marvin Harrison, in theory, is the number 1 wide receiver on his team.
Yeah. But Neighbors was like 4. My point is,
Travis Hunter's not the number
Travis
1.
Hunter is somewhere between 60 and like 90, depending on the platform and what people think. And I'm just saying, to me, I think Hunter is underpriced because they took him as a receiver, not a cornerback. Like they're like, he's going to be on offense and Moonlight D, which is not the consensus coming to the draft, but that's what the Jaguars took him for. And I think Hunter's going to be awesome.
He's also the type of guy that they're just going to spam targets at him with, like screenplays, quick routes, quick like throws, things like that, just to get the ball out and let him run around.
Okay. Any of the rookies? See Hunter, McMillan, Colson Loveland, talked about Golden, Egbuka.
Yeah, Golden. The other like deep cuts, if we're talking about Jaden Blue for the Cowboys, since they just don't have anybody kind of in their backfield right now that you trust. Kyle Williams for the Patriots, Dylan Sampson for the Browns because of something that just happened recently, which I think we should probably just talk about right now, right?
Yeah, let me pull up. So I'm just going to quote from TNC Sports. So Quinshon Judkins. So I'm just going to quote from this so we don't get sued. This is quoting TMZ Sports. More details surrounding Quinshon Judkins' arrest have been revealed. The Cleveland Browns 2nd round pick is accused of punching a woman in the mouth during an argument inside a car. Basically, they were in a rented Lamborghini at the Fort Lauderdale airport, and continuing quoting, the woman claimed he struck her in the mouth or chin area with a closed fist, resulting in bruising. Woman said she ultimately decided to go to the cops after speaking with friends and family. As previously reported, Judkins and the woman who lived together between May 2024 and December 2024, and then got back together in June 2025, remained in Fort Lauderdale for several days before she filed a delayed battery report, and then officers made contact with Judkins, placed him into custody, and charged him with misdemeanor battery. So, end quote.
So we don't know what's going to happen with that.
Right.
No clue. Generally speaking, not a lawyer. NFL lets the criminal, there's civil and criminal, and the NFL has decided to let criminal prosecutions play out, and then they'll get involved, which is how Rashee Rice was involved in a car accident, at this point, years ago, and probably it won't even decide whether to suspend Rashee Rice this year or not. So we don't have all the facts there, and then even when we do, it will
probably be a while.
Not this season, probably. We'll see. But another random thing going on is he's not signed. Quinshon Judkins is not signed with the Cleveland Browns, which is
This is a bizarre story, Heifetz.
So,
yeah.
I know we're running long. I'll try to keep this short. But basically, 30 second-round picks are not signed, which is unprecedented. There is a crazy thing going on.
Camps are starting.
So the Chargers are going to go to training camp, and Trey Harris, the second-round pick for the Chargers, is not going to be there.
Right.
And the reason you don't hear about this anymore, you never hear about this, right? Rookies not reporting to camp because of a contract dispute. You never hear about this. There were shades of it. The Bengals actually just had one with Shamar Stewart, but that's not related. But basically, it's funny because it's a negotiation, but there's nothing to negotiate with money. None of the money's up for grabs. There's a chart you can pull up with how much the first pick to the 257th pick gets paid. It's basically non-negotiable. It's all about the guaranteed money is what they negotiate over. So it's how much of it's guaranteed or how to unguarantee the money. So sometimes if you get arrested for something like felony assault or a DUI, the team is you're at will basically now. Your contract's not guaranteed. Or even some cases, if you get 3 personal fouls, 15-yard penalties, and are fined for it, you will unguarantee your money. You're like an at-will employee. So all the haggling happens over guarantees. Is it 4 years guaranteed? 3, 2 of the 4 years are guaranteed. What has happened is the first-round picks get the 4 years fully guaranteed. And then after that, it's kind of there's precedent. It's nothing's written down, but it's just precedent. What happened was the Texans signed Jaden Higgins. The Texans drafted Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State, 34th overall, which is the second pick of the second round. They gave him basically a first-round contract. They gave him 4 years fully guaranteed with the amount. So the money's set at the 34th pick, but they're like, we're going to give you the whole thing.
Nick Casario was just busy watching the wave.
Yeah, the energy vampires.
He's like, yeah, give it to him. Yeah,
They're like, what'd you say? Yeah, sure. It's like, what did I do?
Sign it.
Why did he do this? I'm so confused about this. It's so weird.
The
fuck
Browns,
it. Let's
it's genius. It's genius because he's now
He's
has
pissing
his
everyone
guy
else
and
off.
everybody else doesn't have theirs.
Yeah, so it's
Fucking
playing
genius.
chess.
This is playing the short game,
Yeah.
if you will.
So then the Browns, who had Carson Schwessinger, I can't pronounce, the UCLA linebacker, had the first pick of the second round. We're like, fuck. So they gave Carson Schwessinger a first round pick contract too. The next 30 picks of the second round are all like, all right, cool. We're going to get
I'd like
guaranteed.
Give me
Right,
one of
well.
them big ones.
Give me one of them big ones.
I don't care. You can put it on a big thing. I'll put it
So
in my
the next,
car.
so literally they're all waiting like dominoes because they don't want to screw it up. So they're waiting for the third pick of the second round to sign, then the fourth, then the fifth. No one wants to screw it up.
It's just like
It's just
staring
chicken.
contest. Yeah.
And all that's happening in the backdrop of something, unless people hit us up or are interested, we can get into, but it's against the backdrop of this. Pablo Torre did an episode with Mike Florio at Pro Football Talk that basically there's a whole drama happening based with the NFL Players Association where basically NFL owners seem to have colluded or just had a business strategy, whatever, about not guaranteeing NFL contracts, which we can get into. And the way the NFLPA handled that quietly, it's a whole thing we could talk about, but there is a big brouhaha right now about guaranteed contracts. And so none of these agents, no one wants to be seen backing down on guaranteed contracts right now. The teams don't, it's a whole thing. So players are going to, it's not a moment that the NFLPA wants to be seen as not fighting for guaranteed money. So it very much, this is a big deal right now with these picks coming in. So we'll see what happens. But anyway,
I have a question.
we got to see these guys show up to training camp.
These guys, if they're not signed, and they can't, so they cannot come to practice, I assume, or whatever. OTAs. And then can they get fined if they're not signed?
No, you can't get fined if you're under contract.
Right.
That's a whole loophole. What they do with OTAs is there's some waiver. I won't pretend to be a lawyer and understand, but basically they sign I think it's called a player participation. It's basically they sign something that's like, if I get hurt running on air and tear my ACL, you will basically honor what I would have signed at the slot. And they basically sign something. I don't know maybe it's insurance. I don't know, but they sign some paperwork that's not a contract. But they don't do that for training camp. Like, you are supposed to be signed for training camp. So I don't think they're going to sign some waiver. Like, these guys are not going to be in the field. If they'll go to meetings and stuff, maybe, but like, probably not. Like, they're probably not going to show up.
And I want to point out,
Huge
too,
for
just like
rookies.
from a football point of view, missing these practices is a big deal.
Massive.
Craig, I was thinking about this the other day. I was listening to a pod and they were talking about Roman Wilson from the Steelers, who like got hurt immediately, missed a few practices, and then somebody said like the train left without him. Like essentially like the season left and he just missed that train. They were like, we're not going to even think about you until next year because we got a job to do. We're doing our thing. If you miss practice, we've seen it 100 times. If you miss early OTAs or if you miss training camp because of injury, it sets you back for your rookie season so badly. And it's really, really disruptive. You don't learn the playbook as well. You cannot get out there and get in good shape. I mean, it's like any number of things that happen. It's like
anything
a really
else.
terrible deal.
It's kind of like how Tiger Woods or Novak Djokovic, even when they're like, or what they say about the live golf guys, it doesn't matter how good you are. You have to be doing something every day to be elite at it. Like, if you're going to be better than the other best elite athletes in the world.
The margins are so small in the NFL, yeah.
Tiger Woods, even putting. Like, when Tiger Woods comes back, it's not just he can't hit his drives anymore. Like, Tiger Woods isn't as good putting the ball when he's not competing every day. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. You have to be doing this every day. So never mind when you're learning the ropes in the beginning.
You lose your touch when you don't play basketball for like a week.
Yeah, so maybe we take out all those second round receivers. We just fade them.
I know, it's worrisome.
Okay.
What's your next question?
Probably should have got to this earlier in the show, but honestly, I think there's just, you might as well start at the beginning. I keep wondering if we should take Saquon Barkley first overall or not.
The workload thing?
Say again? Yeah, it's this
workload?
simple. I mean, we could talk forever and ever about it, but it's this simple. We could argue there's never been an easier number one pick because Saquon just had the best season I've ever seen from a running back start to finish.
Ridiculously awesome running back behind one of the best offensive lines, if not the best offensive line.
99th percentile athlete with 99th percentile production and with 99th percentile character who just won the Super Bowl. And so on one hand, what the fuck are we talking about? But the flip side is he had the second most touches of the 21st century. And there's a middle ground between running backs don't matter was stupid, and I should ignore that he had the second most touches of the 21st century. He had almost 500 touches. He's on the cover of Madden, and if Saquon got hurt in week 6, I'd feel stupid. And that's it, honestly. And so I could go through the whole history with you guys. I don't care if you care or not, but that's really it, is how much should I... Basically, I think where I'm at is I think I give people permission to not take Saquon first if you have the first or second pick, and you're like, I'm a little scared of that. That's fine. But to be clear, every week Saquon is healthy, he will be a top 2 running back.
I know.
Like, he's going to be a top 2.
It's hard to know what to do with him. It also, I feel like, as we're splitting hairs a little bit, it's like, don't take him first. But like, how are you feeling if you spend $55 on him in an auction draft or whatever? How does that make you feel? Scared?
I think I just need to not think about it. Like, I think if I don't think about it, I would just take Saquon and not overthink it. But the more I listen to morons like us talk about it, I'm like, well, that... DeMarco Murray in 2014 never bounced back. And I'm like, well, maybe Saquon's different. Or also, I don't know, a lot of those old numbers about like Arian Foster and Larry Johnson in 2005 or whatever. It's like, first of all, I don't know. I'm sure the way athletes take care of their bodies 20 years ago is very different. The way athletes practice is very different. The way Saquon is practicing this offseason, he's like taking it easy, more easy than he usually does. He's aware of it. I don't know if people were as conscious about it back then.
Arian Foster, I believe, did not have a hyperbaric chamber he could take with him to his hotel back in like 2011. Yeah. And so I agree. Players, they're not getting hit. I mean, they're still getting hit, but not as hard as 2005 with Larry Johnson. And basically, I think there's a 50-50 chance.
Who are you taking over him, Heifetz?
I think Jamar Chase won the Triple Crown, and like you could just take Jamar Chase, and that's fine. There's no shame in that. Jamar Chase is incredible. He's 25 years old. He's the best receiver. Like, he's my favorite player. That's not a Giant. I'm obsessed with Jamar Chase. You can take Jamar Chase. My thing with Saquon is there's a 50-50. It's a coin flip. He gets hurt. You'll feel dumb if you take the Madden cover athlete and he gets hurt. Like, all the history of these guys with this workload. Edgerrin James, Larry Johnson, Arian Foster, DeMarco Murray, Le'Veon Bell, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, when they've had these workloads, got hurt the next season. Also, just do it anyway, man. It's fucking Saquon. Like, to Craig's point, I'm not going to sit here and tell people not to take him. You should take Saquon. I don't care if you take Jamar Chase over him, like, because they're equally good, but I'm still going to rank Saquon that high, because the flip side is to take Bijan Robinson. I'm like, okay, but one, what Michael Penix isn't going to get hurt with his 4 season-ending injuries in college, who's played 3 starts. We're assuming that'll be a good offense. So I think still take Saquon, but I give you permission to not. But just do it. Is my take.
Right.
Like week 1, he's going to have like 111 yards at halftime. Saquon. And
He's going to rip off a 70-yarder in the first half. And
Dude, I
should have done that. Fuck.
Shout out to Josh Norris and Hayden Winks, who had an amazing stat on Saquon this week. And obviously, I mean, Saquon had the most yards in a single season ever if you include the playoffs, which is cooler than if he had 2005 and could have gotten the regular season record. But Josh Norris and Hayden Winks had the stat I couldn't believe, which was Saquon scored more touchdowns from outside the 20 than inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah.
Which
is
is
like some Tyreek Hill shit.
That's
give
crazy.
him an inch, he'll take a mile. Yeah.
So yeah, just take Saquon Barkley. But the flip side is, I know it's crazy, but just last year, another running back had Offensive Player of the Year, like 2,000 yards from scrimmage, made the Super Bowl, played all those extra games, led the league in touches, and then barely played the next year. So the flip side is, what do we do with Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah, that was my other big question of the season outside of the offensive coordinator switch-ups. Man, I don't know, because I actually think the value's already going away. Like, he's already creeping into the first round.
People
He's
are
basically
talking themselves into him already.
He's like the 7th or 8th overall pick in drafts now, and at that point, you're like, all right, that's probably quality value, because then there's like only 3 running backs going ahead of him, and it's like Saquon Barkley, Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then McCaffrey, which might be right. I to be honest, this is a real wait and see for me. I know we're not supposed to trust like what we hear out of San Francisco because of what happened last year, but like I don't know what else to do. Like I think
we can trust it a little bit if he's just practicing all the time.
We knew he was hurt. We just didn't think that.
We didn't know how hurt. We didn't know
when McCaffrey's saying I could play tomorrow, and then he didn't play 3 weeks after he said that. That was hard to see coming.
We didn't know he had bilateral Achilles tendonitis.
Because they lied. And then Jordan Mason admitted they lied by accident.
Bilateral. I don't know what that means.
There's medical words are funny when they're like both legs. Bilateral.
But like
as opposed to unilateral Achilles tendonitis.
When McCaffrey was going in the second round, I was like 100% absolutely you have to take him. If it's like 5th overall, I don't know, man.
Do whatever you want. There is one number. Well,
I don't know what to do.
You know what's funny?
Thanks for the advice, Craig.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Dude, should we put that on McCaffrey when we update the draft guide? Man. Just put fucked if I know.
I don't know.
Do whatever you want.
Man.
My thing with McCaffrey is very simple.
If he plays the whole season, you could argue he should go ahead of Saquon.
Right. Honestly, you could take McCaffrey first, and I'm not going to like yell. It's this simple to me. There's one number with McCaffrey.
Not trying to get 7th in the league.
Yeah, no, that's the answer.
Go for it. Fuck it.
The only number that matters to me, the number that rises above all the other analysis for me, is 91%. That is the percentage of snaps McCaffrey played in the first 2 games back. 91%.
Shanahan has no self-control.
But McCaffrey doesn't either. McCaffrey gets mad when he gets subbed out. There's a reason he played 97% of snaps in 2019 with the Panthers.
He's another guy who's limited. He's like a psycho in the offseason. He works out like crazy, and he's even trying to be like, I'm trying to take it easy.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. Every week that McCaffrey plays between 85% and 95% of snaps, where are we going to rank him?
Yeah.
In the top 4 with Saquon, Bijan, and Gibbs. Every single week. He's going to be a top 4 running back. To me, since he missed the last year, I don't think there's necessarily more injury risk with McCaffrey than there is with Saquon. And so if he's going to be playing that much when he comes back.
I don't know. As a doctor, I would say bilateral Achilles. Anytime I hear Achilles is 1 square on the bingo card, and then tendonitis is, famously that doesn't go away, right? Isn't that the whole thing with fucking tendonitis? Is that how it works? Tendonitis is like chronic, correct? Can you have tendonitis go away, or is it just kind of like you handle it?
I think it goes away if you rest for a very long time.
Let me ask Google Gemini.
I don't know, man.
By the way,
Achilles tendonitis, I think, is probably the scariest injury that doesn't make you miss time.
Hold on. You want the AI overview from Google Gemini?
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Most cases of tendonitis will eventually go away.
Okay.
But it can take time, ranging from a few weeks to several months. How do you feel now, Craig, about Christian McCaffrey?
Okay, maybe I feel a little better. Thanks, Google Gemini.
He
Thanks, Dr.
is
Jim.
a new father, by the way. Girl
McCaffrey?
Dad.
Oh, dude.
Yesterday,
if you just fucking drafted players who just had kids, you'd probably win your league.
Or guys who just had sex, like Tyler Lockett.
Well, no, you fade guys who lost their virginity.
But what
Tyler
if
Lockett was never the same.
What if it was to have a kid, though?
Oh, that's it. Well, the 9 months between having sex and the birth, he'd lose all his powers, but then you get the dad strength when it comes back.
Dad strength offsets the virgin lack of strength.
I genuinely do think if Muhammad Ali wouldn't, if boxers, and UFC fighters won't have sex or come before, the summa cum laude before the fight.
Right.
There's something to it.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett was never good after he lost his virginity. That's just a fact.
What was the
part of that was because he lost his virginity when he was like 30 years old. But yeah.
What was the Todd Gurley knee injury? Was that not tendonitis? What did he have?
He had bone on bone.
That's different. It was
arthritis in his knee at 23.
Arthritis.
Oh. The inflammation of the arth.
The Arthur knee with the fist, but it's just like a knee. Yeah.
We're both fucking idiots.
We're pretty stupid.
We don't know what's going to happen.
You don't
with
have to
Christian
take anything
McCaffrey.
we say.
Neither do you. No one knows. If they tell you they know,
It's kind of crazy that I feel like Saquon had easily the most famous running back season of the decade, right?
Because he won the Super Bowl really put it over the top.
The 2,000-yard thing, I think just like the nature of the touchdowns themselves, him switching teams, the whole thing. Yeah, the Super Bowl. However, McCaffrey's 2023, he had over a point per game more than Saquon last year.
If they had won, McCaffrey's would have been just as good, if not better. The thing was, the Saquon thing had the literal reality show to start it off, and it ended with the Super Bowl in a way that you won't get with another player probably anytime soon. To the point, if we just zoom all this out just to button it up, the thing that usually works in fantasy that we look back on and we wish we did more was just be bold when everyone else is afraid and afraid when everyone else is bold, which is the Warren Buffett thing. Everyone's afraid of McCaffrey. Everyone's bold on Saquon. And I'm like, honestly, I kind of just going to take McCaffrey where he's at, because we will probably look back and be like, why were we so afraid of the Achilles? Just like when Tua plays 17 games, we're not afraid of the concussions. Then he gets concussed and we're all afraid of the concussions. It's like just betting against what everyone's afraid of or bold on is usually, frankly, fading the emotions is probably smart.
Will you feel dumber drafting Saquon or McCaffrey and then they get hurt?
Oh, that's a great question. Immediately McCaffrey. Yeah, it's definitely McCaffrey.
Again, 1,000% bilateral Achilles tendonitis.
Dude, it's like dead dove, do not eat. And like you hit the door and I'm like,
I'm just like, I'm so scared of like every time an NBA player has a calf Achilles injury that's like fine and then goes away and then they come back, the worst happens.
Well, it's in the water too. We just saw Jason Tatum and Tyler Halliburton where that was our fault.
And Damian Lillard. And
Lillard, yeah.
I don't know.
What is going on with these Achilles injuries?
I don't know. It's always dangerous to like, it's kind of like climate. It's hard and dangerous to look at any injury and try to be like, that's part of a trend. But I almost think in a way, the recovery of some people from Achilles injuries almost like emboldened people to play through it in a way. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but like the idea that Kobe came back and then Durant came back and certain guys coming back, it almost, I think, frankly, has emboldened people to play through potentially.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I don't know what to make.
Like the calf injuries?
I think the truth is probably just fucking random.
And I think it was in the playoffs. I mean, fucking Halliburton's in the finals. And
yeah, once you get, that's what I feel bad about Halliburton. I respect that so much that he did it.
He would have sat out a month.
100%. I respect him so much. That's what sucks is like, I respect Halliburton so much.
Of course. I didn't like the whole discourse around like he should have sat. I think that's
Who
bullshit.
said that?
Come on.
Oh, a lot of people thought he should have sat.
Like, wait, did they say that before or after he got hurt?
After. Of course, after.
My 2 cents,
that's
have waited.
To me.
You've waited your entire... He will, obviously, his whole career will be changed by the injury. But I think if you're that competitive...
If you're that close?
You can't... If the Pacers lose that game by 2 points, if you lose the series by like a matter of points, you will literally won't be able to... How do you sleep the rest of your life being like, I wonder if I had played, if I could have made it. Like, you know what I mean? That's the whole reason
you're
going
to be Jay Cutler. They're going to Jay Cutler you.
Yeah, exactly.
He's soft. He's walking around on the sideline. Why can't he go back in?
He was tired.
Dude. Okay. Any other questions here? I know that ended up taking... I love that we talk about Saquon and McCaffrey like an hour into the show. But yeah, I think take Saquon and McCaffrey. Is that where we're at? That's why people listen to our analysis. Take the players who are the best players ever at their position.
Maybe take McCaffrey. Maybe.
I might just fucking
do it, man.
Whatever.
But when? Context matters.
I think he's... Yes, you're right. I think he's the top. To me, we're going to update our rankings soon. I'm actually at the point where, to me, McCaffrey's... I'm going to have him top 7. And I think you need to arbitrage it a little with like your rankings. So if you're using a site that has him 14th, like you could be a little strategic, or whatever. But realistically, I think Saquon and Chase are top 2. And then you can, if you want, take Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson right there with them. And my top 3, I had a top 3 and a top 3 at each position. I had Saquon, Gibbs, and Bijan at running back. And I had Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and Justin Jefferson. And to me, it was the top 6. And I'm like, you know what? I'm lying to myself. McCaffrey's in there. It's a top 7 with Christian McCaffrey. And the truth is, I don't actually care what order you put those 7 people in. You could convince me McCaffrey should be 7th. you could make the case to me that McCaffrey, you could take him first if you want, because you're like, I believe he'll be the number one guy, and I won't get him in the second round, so I don't really care. But to me, there's a top 7 guys, and then there's like a big group of guys after that. But I think McCaffrey's part of that top tier, and like the injury thing just get up. Like he's going to play 90% of the snaps for the 49ers, and every week he's going to be Christian McCaffrey. He's going to be the focal point of the offense.
He also injured his posterior cruciate ligament and missed 5 games last year, also known as the PCL.
Unilateral.
And he's
PCL
29.
injury. Yeah.
I don't know,
Jib.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't know, Jib.
All right. Let's get to, you want to do a couple emails and get out of here?
Yeah.
Okay, so we mentioned the Fantasy League. Reminder, emails for ringerfantasyfootballgmail.com for punishments.
Punishments.
Again, we need punishments that like
creative,
Bill Simmons
realistic
will do.
punishment.
Appropriate, but funny.
Craig, do you have any, actually, not Craig, DK, do you have any guidelines? Because just going to out you, I think you're the limitation on like what we would do
Like,
sometimes.
Something that, like, if you have a child,
That's key.
you have to be like, these people have children. Like,
DK,
they
will you
can't be
actually
hanging out.
eliminate, what are punishments you've heard or we have thrown, Craig and I, childless morons have thrown
you
out
have
that
to
you're
take
like,
a
no.
train 500 miles across the country or whatever. Like you have to take a 24-hour bus ride. Like
Right.
we're not doing that shit. We have kids.
Or like you have to go get your yellow belt in karate. It's like, all right.
That's kind
gonna
of good,
take-
actually.
It actually
Well,
takes a
DK
really
is like,
long
I want
time.
to learn to fight.
You have to go
do
to like
that.
a lot of classes to do that.
Right. Well, probably not going to agree to that.
So not on that end, but also maybe a little more creative than like Bill has to change his profile photo to Kobe Bryant. You're like, all right, maybe not that. Like something in between.
Yeah.
That would be funny though if Bill changed his profile photo to Kobe.
If he had a Laker in his profile photo.
You know what's funny
so
is,
good.
you know what's going to happen? One of us is going to come in last.
Yeah, that's the best for
Well,
content.
that's why we're couching this so well.
And then I'll
Yeah,
just
and
claim
so one of them won't do it. Yeah, it's
I'll just claim
something
I
they don't wanna
tanked
do.
for content.
Yeah, it's because I picked Christian McCaffrey. Fucker.
so other
Just tanking
emails.
for Cooper Flag. Yeah.
Other emails. Okay. We asked for emails about dumb arguments you had with your friend that led to nearly physical confrontation.
Very excited for these.
Yeah. Me too.
This is fun. This one's from Ryan.
Right guy.
Ryan Arbone.
My senior year of college, my roommate of 4 years and I got into a fight of words when making breakfast. Ryan, my friend critiqued how I crack eggs.
Interesting.
I stood my ground. I used the side of the pan and lightly but physically cracked the egg open with my hands.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend said you should crack the whole egg on the side of the pan and there should be no need to open it up with your hands. And then he said, I'm fingering the eggs.
Okay.
Okay.
Words were exchanged. Names were called. Eventually, he got so upset he refused to go lunch with me and my other roommate. And then we've actually never talked about this ever again because it was too heated.
So one guy was cracking the egg a little bit and then prying it open.
He's like, you're fingering my eggs.
Why was he so upset about that?
I don't know. Didn't want
and the
his
other guy
fingers
was
on the
like,
eggs.
you need to fucking smash that egg
Stop
against the pan so it
fondling my
explodes.
eggs.
I'm not going to lie. I think I figured the eggs too. I think that's, I do. I don't have that technique down where I could just I can't one hand.
I can't one hand crack either.
I've done it like I'm capable of it, but not consistently. I usually fuck it up.
You want to know how to crack an egg that's really nice? Is you crack an egg with another egg.
What?
Only one of them breaks.
Get the fuck out.
It's unbelievable. And it makes a really nice, perfect little circle that you can just like pry open really easily.
But you finger the eggs.
Yeah, but like, it's just like, you know, a light fingering.
But you're supposed to.
Yeah, you're not blasting it.
No.
Yeah.
It's foreplay.
It's gentle. Okay.
Yeah, it's polite.
I'm confused why he was so offended that it's like my eggs. He's like
A
taking
man
owner-
saying my eggs is funny.
I'm just imagining
It's like you
this
don't
guy,
go into another man's house and finger his eggs.
how does this guy crack his egg? This guy slams the whole egg against the pan?
I feel like you have to kind of like
You gotta use
finesse
a
it a
flat
little bit.
surface.
Yeah, you
or else
gotta
it-
lightly tap it and then
separate it.
pry it open.
If you're a chef,
Fry.
please
Yeah.
email in. If Dave Chang is rage listening to this, please email in at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com and tell us how to crack an
You're
egg.
fingering the eggs, Jerry. Sounds like a fucking Seinfeld
You're
bit.
fingering.
There was no fingering. I saw fingering. I saw fingering, Jerry.
Oh my god. This one's not as funny. This one's
Kramer
from-
then only eats hard-boiled eggs because he doesn't have to then finger them. It's like, I figured it
Well-
out, Jerry. Hard-boiled.
Hard-boiled is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Hate doing that.
You gotta
I
run
used to be
run
able
it
to get the
underwater.
shell off a hard-boiled egg
You gotta run it underwater?
Yeah, if you run underwater while you peel it.
Yeah, I think that's true. I used to be able to get the hard-boiled eggs off. I think I was like accidentally a savant because I never learned how to do it right, and I just became incredible. And then I lost it. I don't know how to do it anymore. But like 2 years of my life, I could
where
do
you can just like roll it around so the whole thing is cracked. Essentially, I'm talking about hard-boiled.
Yeah.
And then it'll come off in like one thing. But then if it doesn't, now you're dealing with 1,500 little.
This is one of those life hacks you see, and they're like life hacks, and it's like cut your pasta with scissors, and like there's always a boiled egg one, and I'm like, cool, and I never do it.
I know. Every life hack is like combine lemon juice and baking soda, and you can clean anything in your house. And I feel like that's real.
Email us life hacks that actually work.
Life
Take an
hacks.
email.
Life hacks that like I don't have to go
You
buy
actually
anything
use.
for.
Yeah.
Life hacks that I can just do in my house easily.
I found this one out the other day, Craig. Just mixing vinegar and water is a great way to wash your windows.
Dude, I'm telling you, like baking soda, vinegar, and like lemon juice,
the
you don't need to buy
natural.
any chemicals. Those
Right.
three things fix everything.
Do
Baking
you how you
soda,
get like the stuff off your Le Creuset or whatever, or like just a pot, anything?
yeah. Even though you're supposed to lightly wash those. Baking soda in general is a really baffling substance to me because you can like brush your teeth with it, you bake with it, but it also cleans your pans.
I gotta tell you,
How does that work?
I don't understand baking soda. I totally agree. I don't understand. I still don't understand what it's made of.
Yeah, it's like, oh, if you have like a stain on a marble countertop, just put baking soda on it for 2 days.
Sucks
and
up
it'll come
the
off.
liquid.
And
It's
then
a
also
rising
like,
agent.
and then it's like, put it in your cookies.
Dude, I know,
Okay.
because like I go to eat a Tide Pod, and they're like, "No, you're not supposed to eat the Tide Pods." But then baking soda, you fucking put in food.
I know. Yeah. Baking soda does it all.
What's the stuff that doesn't that you also put it in your fridge to like eat the odor?
Yes, that's baking soda.
What is the other thing that you put in food? Because I feel like there's something similar to baking
Baking
soda.
powder.
The other thing you put in. Oh,
What's
baking
what's the
powder.
difference between that?
Not sure,
So-
but baking powder helps for something to rise.
Did I just confuse them? All the ghosts are yelling at me. 'cause I
Baking
said-
powder
Baking
is
soda
for-
is pure. This is according to AI.
Maybe that's why my cakes suck.
Baking soda is pure sodium bicarbonate, requiring an acid and a liquid to activate and create carbon dioxide for rising. Baking powder contains both sodium bicarbonate and an acid, needing only liquid to activate. I still don't know what that means.
One helps the bread go up.
So the refrigerant is what's in refrigeration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you make a hockey rink again?
No idea.
That was one of my favorite conversations we've ever
They just,
had. Was
like-
what's a refrigerant?
Yeah.
Which is up because someone was talking about like my air conditioning was 9 degrees. I don't want to turn it on in a heat wave because of global warming. And I'm like, well, I think you can turn on your AC. It's
Refrigerant,
okay.
like it doesn't create cold. It takes away heat.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is Solak explained this to us, and I still
Yeah.
don't know
It
what.
like takes away heat. It doesn't spit out cold.
But how does it do that?
I don't know.
With the laws of thermodynamics, like how do you
Chemistry.
make something cooler?
Dude, I don't know how anything works.
I don't know either. Anyway,
Craig is like mad.
Baking soda, I'm like baffled by. So
the other one, I told you guys, my brother, who is 35, didn't know that dandelions, like the little, like the yellow dandelions, become the dandelions with the.
Oh,
Little,
he thought those were separate.
he thought they were
things?
separate flowers, and when I
Oh.
told him that, he thought I was lying to him. Like he thought I was trying to do a long con.
Just reminds me of the David versus Goliath thing. So
you know, I got some very reassuring emails and comments of people who
Yeah.
also didn't know that. So
I
thank
think
you.
Based on the feedback, most people did not know that David from the
No,
statue
not
is from David
most.
West. I
A
think
lot.
some,
I think most.
a good chunk.
Okay. DK doesn't want to make me feel too good. He's like,
Don't want you
you're
to get a
still
big
an
head."
idiot, but a lot of people are idiots.
This one's from Jared.
Jared.
J-Bone. Been waiting for that one.
DK really
God
lit
damn
up
it.
there.
Idiot.
For
more,
the past
more for you and you.
for the past 20
Good. More for me and you. Good. Get married? What an idiot. Good.
J-Bone says, for the past 21 years, my friend Derek and I have argued whether or not we went into and saw the movie Hidalgo together.
Hidalgo.
They don't know if they went or not.
They don't know if they went.
That's
Jared.
officially the most random movie you could possibly like imagine. I can't imagine a more random movie.
Dude, Hidalgo's sick. Seabiscuit was so overrated. Hidalgo's incredible.
Is
No, I like
Hidalgo
that
the one
host
with
Viggo
Figo.
Mortensen out here in the
Aragorn?
desert.
Yeah.
Jared says he is convinced we saw it in theaters together in 2004. I swear on my daughter's life, I have never seen that movie.
This is the best. I
That's so
love
good.
this kind of stuff.
I did not see Derek for over a decade. I randomly ran into him at Walmart. He comes up to me. The first thing he says is, "You saw that fucking movie with me."
Dude, this reminds me so much of a buddy of mine from growing up elementary school. He and I had this memory of us together going to like this basketball game, and we were sitting near someone that when they like the ref made a bad call, this lady yelled, "You are godless!" and like, and I have like a vivid memory of it. "You are godless," and then I've been saying it ever since, like thinking it's the most funny thing ever. Anytime like a ref makes a bad call, I just think of "You are godless." And then I asked him about it. He was like, what are you talking about? I don't remember that. I have no memory of that. I didn't say that.
You know what's funny is because that's you when we talk about anything from the podcast like more than 3 weeks earlier.
He was like, I wasn't at that game. I was seeing Hidalgo.
Hidalgo in the theaters. You are godless. So anyways, if you remember that and you were there with me, please tell me who it was.
I love arguments that you can't prove. Like, there's no way they're going to figure out.
The best. The other one, I'm not going to lie, Jared, who swore on his daughter's life, says, "I refuse to watch the movie out of spite. Rewatch it." Because he says, "I've never seen the thing." And I'm like, so if he rewatches the movie and gets any glimmers of like,
exactly.
Oh, maybe I did see this, then like he swore. I feel like if you swear on your daughter's life, you don't have any more than that. Like that's the top. That's the ultimate mic drop you can go.
That's why he's not going to rewatch it because he's afraid.
He's afraid he's seen it. I agree. I bet Jared saw the fucking movie.
They're probably high as fuck.
Yeah. I got another one you want. This one's from Mark.
Marky.
This one's funny. This one's stupid. This one's dumb. I have friends like this. My friends got into a heated argument. My friends, you know who you are. My friends got into a heated argument a couple weekends ago. We were hanging out on my friend's porch, which is near an outdoor pickleball facility. And you know how everyone hates pickleball now because it's loud? And the noise is so annoying. He says, my other friend says, not hearing any pickleball noises today. And my other friend says, yeah, probably because there's no wind blowing in this direction today.
Oh, no.
And there's a pause. And my friend looks at him and goes, wind doesn't carry sound. You're thinking of smell. He's like, sound's not a physical thing. It can't be carried by wind. And they had a giant argument about it. And they're like, what is your, like, no thinking, no whatever, no Googling. What is your immediate thought on sound? Does wind influence sound?
Yes. I think so. If it's really windy, you can't hear someone,
Craig?
I thought.
Yeah, I guess so.
But wind having a sound that drowns out a sound is one thing. But what you're saying is if there's no wind, it would be louder, not quieter. So are you saying wind can, you see what I'm saying? Like
no, I
wind.
see what you're saying. I see there's a difference there. I'm thinking of like, if you're like it's a really fucking windy, you can't hear anything more than like 5 feet away.
But this guy's saying wind carries sound. I think he's super wrong.
That seems off. That's
embarrassing.
I mean, I thought a cloud weighed 0 pounds. So
I still do.
We've gotten basically people
I don't
have
fucking
argued,
understand how clouds weigh anything, but
we had the cloud scientists saying that the mass of the cloud
scientist.
The mass of the cloud is a weight, but that doesn't. But basically, mass is mass. But then, like you can get a little hairy on whether weight has to be equal to mass, and so you could argue it's weightless, but also you could argue it's a billion pounds.
Get these nerds out of my clouds.
Oh wait, we got another one. I'm so glad I remembered it. Okay.
Wait, can we have someone explain to us the wind thing if you know what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think that one's easy. This one's better. I forget who sent. I think it was Mark sent this one in.
Marky!
You guys have to give your answers immediately.
Another Mark? M-Bone.
Oh, God.
Giant argument on whether fog is just a cloud on a ground or not.
Oh, God.
I thought fog was just like ground cloud.
It's
ground cloud.
Ground
Fuck, ground cloud.
Ground cloud?
I thought it was ground cloud. I thought fog was just ground cloud.
Isn't it just like, it's just moisture, right?
Yeah, I just thought it was ground cloud, but they had a massive. DK, do you think that? I just thought that's literally the beginning and end.
What else could it be?
I think that's.
I don't know. But that's one of the huge
It's
arguments.
like a cloud that's just hovering lowly.
Is it like technically by definition because of whatever it's made of, it's not a cloud, but like it's
let
a fucking
me ask
cloud.
Google Gemini.
Is fog a cloud?
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
I'm going to ask Google Gemini. Oh, they want my terms and no, I'm not. Accepting
Is fog
that.
a cloud? Yes, fog can be considered a type of cloud.
Well,
that's
Is fog a ground cloud?
No one says ground cloud, Heifetz.
Ground cloud.
It's too ground
Sorry,
cloudy
it's a
out.
stratus cloud with its base at or near the Earth's surface. Is that better?
So it's a cloud.
So it's a
ground
cloud.
cloud.
It's a ground cloud,
surface.
technically.
So was
no
one guy
calls
arguing that it was not a
No.
cloud? It's its own classification. Like there is fog and then there is cloud. Was that what he was
I
arguing?
don't know. They're just saying it's not a cloud. Like it's fog. It's different.
Airbud wide retriever.
That's tough. All right.
These are fun.
Email us more. Yeah, these are good. I think this is a deep well. Email us more dumb arguments you've had with your friends.
Why does sound carry on water? Is it because it bounces off the water?
Yeah.
And there's
Why
no
does sound
obstruction?
carry on water?
Maybe?
Yeah, I think it's probably not about the water, but more the lack of things above water, I would guess. Right?
Maybe. Or it bounces. I like to think of it bouncing.
I
Off
bet
what?
you do.
Like a skipping stone.
That was good, Craig. Wow.
Craig, did you just make a sex joke
No.
again?
No.
Oh, okay.
I did
Summa cum
graduate
laude.
cum laude, though.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I'm sorry to my mom if she listened to that one. I didn't like that. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Let me think here. Email us, ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. We want punishments that our bosses in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, some of whom have
Appropriate, but
children,
funny.
people with kids will do. And we want stories of dumb arguments you had with your friends that almost came to physical violence. Or if they did too, that's cool too. How to crack an egg. And then, yeah, we have mailbag. And yeah, thank you, Lord.
Lord,
Thank you, Chitty Bang.
Wow, what a pull. Chitty Bang crushed the college circuit when Craig and I were out.
I emceed a Chitty Bang concert in college.
What? Have we talked about this before
I
on the
don't know.
podcast?
I don't think so.
I
What?
hosted a Chitty Bang concert.
Yeah, I did with my buddy Sam.
Was
we
Mark there?
co-emceed together.
Yeah, it's right after you went to Hidalgo.
I met Chitty backstage. He was fine.
Chitty.
Yeah,
He was fine.
he was uninterested in me.
Okay.
Really? That's shocking.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
tell him?
Yeah,
You know,
what was he-
I made a half-court shot.
Yeah. It was at the open air theater at San Diego State. He was there for Green Fest, which was like this like environmental thing we put on every year, and we'd have somebody come and perform. And we had Chitty Bang.
Chitty Bang, dude. Chitty
Yeah.
Bang. You know, he grinded out a career.
Well, he did the song, the Kids song, which is really good. It's called Kids, wasn't
They
it?
have a bunch of good ones.
Yeah. And there was a lot of remixes, I think, of that
I went
song.
through a Chitty Bang era. In
Yeah,
like
he was
the
remixing Kids.
aughts.
I drove Sammy Adams around for a night in college. That was
Really?
yeah,
God,
my
that's
D-list
another
thing.
one.
Yeah.
He
Sam
is
Adams.
exactly
Just, like,
in the Chitty Bang
cranking out-
category.
don't
Got
even
like
know
two
who that is.
songs, just enough cultural pop that like colleges could afford them, and then you just go around and
He
they just are
parodied
insanely
Asher
fucked up.
Roth's song, I Hate
Yes.
College.
Asher
Yeah.
I hate
Roth.
college, which is like such a
I was
better
Craig,
song.
I was literally trying to think of
Yeah,
who's that
Asher
other
Roth,
guy?
maybe.
Asher Roth.
Yeah.
No, Asher Roth said I love college, and Sam Adams said that I hate college but love all the party. And it's a great song. And
I
then
bet
he had
you-
one other waterfalls or just drinking
I know he had a
down
couple,
like
dude.
water
I remember All Night Longer.
all night longer. That's the one.
And then I think he had one more Coast
It's
to Coast.
just enough songs that like you can now do a 45-minute concert and for like $15,000 and then just get fucked up on a college campus, be like just attacked by mobs of women, and then you just go on with your life.
Yeah, I can't. The 15 minutes of fame that Sammy Adams had was unparalleled for how unfamous he is now. Like
I worry
the
for him.
fun that guy had for like 8 months is fucking unmatched.
Dude,
For who he is now.
I drove him around.
Full send.
He wanted to go to a bar to watch this Alabama game, and in the back of my head, I'm like, we sat down for like 20 minutes, and I'm like,
Doesn't
you know, it's
sound very rock
Friday,
and
right?
roll.
And I'm
Like,
like,
why were you driving him? Like, what
Yeah,
was?
what?
I just ended up being the runner. It's a whole story,
This
but I
is
ended up
classic
being, I was like his
Heifetz, I'm
runner,
telling
so I had to
you.
drive him
Yeah.
around, and like, he was so fucked up, he didn't realize it was Friday, and the Bama game was Saturday. He didn't know what day it was. He said the name of the wrong
Checks out.
college, and then it was a whole
Craig,
story.
why were you emceeing the Chitty Bang show?
Because
Yeah, you're putting this on me. I'm driving a car.
Craig, just his new Twitter bio's got to be once emceed a Chitty Bang show.
That's actually
my
really
my
funny.
buddy Sam and I were like involved with like
Sammy Adams.
associated students, and we were like on the improv team, and we like made a TV show for the school. Like we were kind of in the film department, and we were doing stuff like that.
Natural MC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No,
for-
I Hate College is kind of in my head. It is a good song.
Chitty Bang.
Chitty Bang's good. Yeah, shout out Chitty Bang.
Damn.
Anyone has other like stories like that of like D-list artists coming to your school or whatever, just like or anything like that, please email us. All right.
The year after was Donald Glover. I didn't get to do that one.
Oh my God.
It's fucking Childish Gambino. Nope.
Goodbye, everyone.